Fans and friends around the world, welcome back to another episode of Primetime Muscle. We are so excited to have you with us. You're probably doing your cardio, as many of our fans do. I'm Tim Wilkins, as always, joined by the real deal Chris Cormier, walking in with his swag.
I just thought I'd grace you guys with my outfit. Louis down to the socks. Louis belt to match. Digging the shades too? I'll see you. All right then.
Terrick El Guindy, that's a face that you have making, my friend.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll just let you guys.
looks like Suge Knight just got out of a Weight Watcher.
Can I do the? I just want to know. Can I do the YSLs with the Louis Vuitton? I don't know if I'm out of touch with my
You've been
passion.
out of touch since you were born.
See how you are. See the jealousy, guys?
Well, it is a lot of jealousy, Chris.
Yeah.
Because we know we don't make as much as one of your outfits, so it's always nice to have you with us.
Don't worry, guys. There's always hope.
I need a supplement line, apparently. Guys, great to see you.
Great seeing you, Tim. I must say, I'm also happy to see Chris Cormier, which surprises me.
I'm happy to see you too. Good to see you guys.
We're still talking stuff from the Olympia. There's just so much to cover in so much time, and probably the most popular athlete in any division is Chris Bumstead. And then you get in that classic physique division, and you got Ramon Dino. We're going to tread lightly because I don't want another 6 months of dinosaurs in my Instagram. These two have been head-to-head for a couple of years now.
Yes, and Ramon Dino got close, very close, okay? Very close.
How close was he?
He was close, okay? Ramon Dino got very close. Here's the deal. Chris Bumstead was not as good, especially at prejudging, from his 2022 prejudging performance. As soon as he came in for the group comparisons, he was to the right side, and I was right in front of him, and I could tell from the back he wasn't as lean as 2022. I know a lot of people are scared to say anything about Chris Bumstead. Oh my God, I'm not. Chris is a phenomenal bodybuilder. He won the Olympics, but he was not as good as 2022, especially at prejudge, and especially from the back. He has shown more separation. Ramon Dino was more conditioned than Chris at this event. What is the issue? Go to Chris Cormier and then I'll educate him.
Chris?
I just noticed the difference. You know, once again, I am agreeing with my comrade. Terrick is you know, the last few weeks he's been on, and I'm really proud of him that he's been one of the judges of the Olympia, but I think now he's opening his eyes. So, with that being said, I feel like, you know, some of the trademark shots, the three-quarter back shot, he was trying to hit it the same way he did. It was very dramatic the year before. I give him that. But some of the striations was faded. Some of the shots from the back was not the same. We became accustomed to him doing some of his movements in the back of a bicep. You know, bringing up the Christmas tree that had a little snow on it. Let's just say.
So Terrick, Phil was talking about during the pay-per-view. He was talking about them being a little too chummy. And not Chris necessarily, because Chris turns on his game face. Ramon's out there kind of cowering at times. He's kind of moving back. He's moving to the side and being playful.
A lot of respect being shown.
Too much respect?
Too much respect. You got to go for the juggler up there. Be friends afterwards, but I mean, let Steve separate you, type of thing. Like let's just see what this prep meant to you. All the dieting, all the hard work. I mean, when I used to compete, I used to come to tears in some of my workouts because I'm just wanting it so bad and wanting to show the world all my hard work so bad that you get super emotional about it. But I want to see some of that pouring out onto the stage at Olympia.
Yeah, Terrick, if Big Steve isn't yelling, "Spread out, gentlemen," are we doing our jobs as competitors?
That's been a reoccurring topic. You know, Chris Bumstead, he has an aura to him. He's the champion, and he loves having that aura. He works it magically. He makes sure that everybody understands he is the man, and you're just there as a supporting actor. Now, you can either join that movie or you can be Breon Ansley and say, hey, I'm not part of your movie. I have my own movie. Ramon Dino and Urs Kaliczynski, they're still supporting characters in Chris Bumstead's movie. And that's very hard for you to take the leading actor if you already signed it on the dotted line that you're going to be the supporting character. I agree with Chris Cormier. I agree with Phil Heath. Stop being too respectful. That's not even the word. Stop sucking up to the guy. That's the guy you want to beat. Stop with that.
You got to ask yourself, do you want to beat him or do you want to just be
you're
a friend
a fan of his? You're like, hey, listen, Chris Bumstead could have been more conditioned. Some people go, oh my God, I can't say anything about Chris Bumstead. He's got 20 million followers. And then Chris goes on the mic and said, hey, I didn't see the separation that I saw last year. I tore my back, my biceps. Even Chris is saying that he wasn't at his best. You as a competitor, you need to take advantage of that. Instead of going on stage and overly respecting. The word is not even overly respect, sucking it up to the guy.
I would have been showing my strongest points and looking at his weakest points and making sure the judges know he has some chinks in the armor this year, and I'm here to take the title.
Well, let's look at these pieces of armor and try to dissect where Ramon made up some ground, where Chris may have been off, if there is such a thing. To me, guys, this isn't one of those places. Chris has got this one.
Okay, so there's one thing about Chris Bumstead that Ramon will never have. Ramon will never have, and that's the bottom line. Large clavicle bones. Those large clavicle bones will assist him with the V-taper, will assist him in terms of being more powerful. Ramon can come close to it. It's like the Derek Lunsford thing. You got the back double biceps. You can't beat him, but you can come close. He needs to improve his posing, which he's been doing it. He's been doing it, but you cannot overtake this man's width. Now, could Chris have been a little bit tighter overall? Absolutely. And I think Ramon was a little bit tighter. He's starting to look a little bit more balanced because he's increased his back. So you're not staring at his arms. But this is a pose. It's very hard to beat this man.
Yes, you can see the shape. That's just dominance right there. And he knows it. And also, I think Dino knows it also. And I think that's why you see the chummy stuff in these shots. But I feel that he is hungry. I feel like he wants it. But he just got to come off that little chummy stuff and like, I want to take your food.
Well, I don't know if we want to call this the Arnold pose. That's the statue out in front of the venue in Columbus. But this is Chris's pose. But there was a couple of steps behind on this pose that Chris wasn't as crispy as he has been the last couple of years.
He's been tighter on the glutes.
Yeah.
He's been tighter on the lower back. And Ramon was more conditioned than him on those parts. Ramon was tighter on the lower back and on the glutes. So Ramon did squeeze him, but Ramon has to become a better poser. There's two things about this guy, Chris Bumstead, that's very, very impressive. The large clavicle bones, and he's a master at posing. He's outposing Ramon. It's not only beating him physically, you gotta outpose Chris Bumstead so you start closing the gap.
Well, what I saw was a person who knows that he's a little bit off, and you can see it play out in some of the poses. I saw this pose was not the same because I feel I have a photographic memory and a photographic eye, and I saw the difference in that glute, and I saw the lower lat. And if you look at the head positioning, his chin should be closer to that shoulder. And that just sets off, to me, it just tells me your body language is a little off in this pose because you know that there is something not right about your physique and going into the show. And I think that's the lat that he spoke of that he injured is the side as he's hitting it on right there. But you can see the body language there in that shot is just not, I'm here to kill like he was the year before.
He was feeling that he wasn't at his best. And in the back double biceps, as Steve Weinberger said, Tyler Mannion said, and I second that, Ramon Dino beat Chris Bumstead. Ramon Dino beat Chris Bumstead on the back double biceps. Look at the difference between the glutes. He's got striated glutes.
He was just way harder.
He has more separation. He was harder. Now Chris, obviously, he has the large clavicle bones. So what Chris did here is, hey, I did lose this pose. My glutes are not as conditioned as Ramon. I don't have the separation on the back, but guys, look at my width. So hey, you can lose a pose, but you try to close the gap on that pose.
I know when he hits his back to a bicep, he likes to start with the Christmas tree, but then he puts a lot of pressure in that teres major, the teres minors, that rhomboid area. He puts a lot of pressure in there to try to give the illusion of a thicker back. To me, I know what he's doing, so I don't really fall for that, but I just think, Ramon closed the gap with that back to a bicep and all those back shots.
You do a lot of instruction on this show where you kind of tell people where you would make a tiny tweak to make a big difference. I'm looking at the hand position with Ramon on 2 of these poses in his bicep. What would you do to bring out that peak just a touch more on both these poses?
I would stick my thumb inside that fist, and I would bring that, counterclockwise?
We should be seeing more knuckles.
I would counterclockwise rise that wrist. Not the elbow per se, but just that wrist. And that's going to give a better shot.
That peak is going to pop up just a touch more.
Utilizing that lower latissimus dorsi region, that's where you're going to make up the ground.
The key question, which I want to ask both of you guys, let me impersonate my Tim Wilkins. If Ramon Dino was a better poser than Chris Bumstead, would he have won the 2023 Mr. Olympia?
To me, he would have, and I think that's the last thing that's holding him back is his lack of posing, articulating that physique
Tim,
on the stage.
let's lose 20 million followers.
I'm going to go
20 million followers.
Dinosaurs.
I'm either going to lose him with a dinosaur or with a mustache, but I still had Chris in this one. I think it was so close. I had a whole big scramble to the top 5 anyway. I had Breon 3rd. I had Urs somewhere near 5th. Terrence Ruffenheier. I had
could have been behind.
I had Breon battling for 2nd.
Breon should have never went out of 3rd place.
Never.
Ever.
There's one thing that we're forgetting here. Now, Chris Bumstead's side chest. Epic. Historic.
Yes.
You're not going to beat that man on that side chest.
I give him the side chest.
Okay? He could be 78 years old, missing a leg, and he'd probably win a side chest. His side chest is phenomenal. In this year's Olympia, he lost the back double biceps. If Ramon had posed better on the classic physique...
Wait a minute. Wait. This year... Breon Ansley have never lost a back double bicep.
We're not talking about Breon.
But I'm telling you, said he would. Okay.
We're not
make that distinction. Make that distinction. Make that distinction.
We're not here promoting business.
Just the facts is why we keep it real. Just the facts. Don't come up with that mumbo stuff. Breon's never lost a back double bicep. Go ahead.
So Breon Ansley has tremendous back double biceps, and I agree with Chris Cormier, even though I just want to punch the shit out of him. Now, in this year's Olympia, we're talking about Chris Bumstead and Ramon Dino. We're not promoting your training business,
but
Ramon Dino beat Chris Bumstead on the back double biceps.
Let my horse race.
He could have beaten him on the classic physique pose.
Let my horse race.
He didn't hit that, so he would have gone back to abdominals and thighs. If he had beaten him on abdominals and thighs, he would have had the classic physique pose, abdominals and thighs, and back double biceps. He missed those because of posing.
So there's a couple rumors with Chris. One
Rumor has it.
The move up to open, which I don't see happening. And you got the tear starting to happen. You got the wear and tear. He's established himself like many bodybuilders haven't as an entity outside of outside of competition. So what kind of is the bellwether, Terrick? You got a little something going on in your head.
I've heard that Chris Bumstead's company, Raw Nutrition, based in Florida.
Courting,
that's a great word. Great word, Chris. Hate giving you credit, but that's a great word. Is courting Ramon Dino. That's like a huge shakeup in the bodybuilding. Hold on. This is your main competitor. You are now courting him to become part of your company?
That sounds like a handoff of the torch, if you ask me.
You might be right, Tim. You might be right.
Well, it happens every once in a while, guys. I get to be right. It's going to be another great year of bodybuilding. Hopefully we'll see more of these competitors on stage prior to the Olympia. And, well, we'll get to pick apart some more of this year's action when we come back on Primetime Muscle. There was a big controversy among a few at this year's show, and one was at the finals of the Men's Open. You had Hadi Choopan get his medal. Off he goes.
Well, being a professional at taking second a few times, like 22 times in my life, I understand there's a lot of raw emotion going on. I know Bob tried to get him to come back. He was not having it. He was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I checked out. I'm out. I'm not going back out there. He, I think, getting ready for the Olympia means everything to him. Means everything for him to bring that trophy back to his country. Means everything for him to, be hoisted as that hero. But he's going to be that hero anyway. He's that hero no matter what. He's still placing second in the world, which is a lot better than most other, how many percentage men in the world.
Of people that compete on the Olympia.
He's still got a lot of money, and he's still a hero in your country. But that don't mean anything to you at the time of that happening. I remember, one time I probably would have did something similar or something worse at the Arnold Classic, my last one. And I held it together enough, but I still made some gestures up there that I kind of regret doing. But I do understand where he's coming from, and I do understand the feeling. I just, you got to hold together more than storm it off and give that guy respect like he gave you.
Yeah, the year before.
The year before. He took second. It's not whatever's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Terrick, now it's always a question. It's not just for the fans. It's not just for the good of the sport. What do the judges think when they see somebody up there storm off and not be a part of the celebration and the process that they've been in before? He's been third, he's been fifth, he's been seventh, he's been all over the map. He knows, like Chris said, I'm not saying he knows how to lose, but he knows how to place gracefully.
Well, we don't like it. We don't approve it. We don't think that's a conduct that should be an example of a Mr. Olympia. Like Chris said, hold it together. Hold it together. Do we understand it's a devastating moment for you? Do we understand that you're extremely disappointed? Absolutely. We, the judges, are available to speak with you backstage and explain to you why you placed where you placed. But ultimately, you have an obligation to your fans, to future competitors. You have an obligation to the Federation, to the Mr. Olympia, and most of all, an obligation to the person who won the event, Terrick Lunsford, to stay there and take the pictures. Hold it together. I couldn't have said better than Chris. Hold it together. We understand the feeling, but Terrick Lunsford, when he took second to Hadi Choopan, he stayed there, he clapped, and he stayed for the pictures. Big Ramy, when he lost, he was the first guy to come around and hug Hadi Choopan. You giving an example to the young competitors that this is how you should act. You're also paying respect to Terrick Lunsford. This is a special moment for him, and now it's a little bit tainted because you walked off the stage. I love Hadi. I voted for Hadi to become Mr. Olympia, and I think he's a tremendous representative of the sport. But I think this was a moment where he made a mistake. And I texted him afterwards. He texted me, and he was very apologetic. And I said, I accept your apologies, but I think you should reach out to Derek. Most of all, to Derek. We're going to be okay with it, but this is the guy that had a special moment in his life, and it was a little bit tainted.
You know who I felt sorry for, guys? You can feel the hurt for Derek. They've worked out together. They share a trainer, and that trainer's Hani Rambod. And Hani brought, again, in 2022 and 23, he brought the Classic Physique Olympia, and he brought the #1 and 2 in the world, and that is a special kind of trainer. But knowing Hani, he's not just bringing the best physiques to the stage, he wants to bring the best athletes. He's bringing the total person to the stage, and I know that people were putting a lot of pressure on him, do something. I'm not in control of the guy. You know, I got him this far. It's up to him to take it the rest of the way as a representative of the sport. And I could just see the pain on his face backstage. It was just an awful place to be.
Well, Hani is in a very tough position. It's a great position, but it's also tough. He's been in this position as well with Phil Heath and Jay Cutler. But remember, when Jay Cutler lost to Phil Heath, he was very gracious. It was a beautiful moment, right? And, obviously we're speculating here, but I'm not quite sure Hani was happy about this, right? Hani himself, he sponsored both athletes, and he wants his company to be represented at its best. And he wants that Derek Lunsford celebrating Hadi's victory. He wants Hadi's to celebrate Derek Lunsford's victory because it's good for all of us. In the end of the day, I always think of the children, right? I always think of the 10, 11-year-old children watching this event. And if they see that you lose and you have a positive attitude, it makes our children better.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you said this earlier, is the people who are watching, the young ones, the young competitors even, are they going to be trying to do this at the local shows? Are they going to be trying to be, disrespectful in a way? To when they don't win, when
the
they get
trophy
second.
smashers that we've seen over the years.
Yes, like people like that. I never done that myself, but I've seen it done, and been a part of some camps where that happened in. But I just feel like on stage like that, you just have to understand that people are watching. People do want to emulate their heroes. Are you going to set the standard to where that's how you're supposed to be if you don't win?
Well, you both have a unique perspective of where you have been in the competition phases. On stage, especially the Olympias, do you remember any moments like that where there was really bad sportsmanship?
There's Flex Wheeler, 99.
And Flex is the first one to say it. Man, that is something I deeply regret. You know, you remember of Flex and you remember of a great career, but you also remember of that moment where Ronnie Coleman won and he acted in that way. That is not a positive. And Flex is one of my best friends in the industry. He'll be the first one to say, I regret that moment. And if he could have talked to Hadi, he would have said, Hadi, don't do it. It didn't work well for me. It's something that I regret. And Hadi right now has the opportunity to tell other competitors, guys, as Chris said, hold it together. Chris lost 4 Arnold Classics. Some of them were like extremely arguably that he actually won. And Chris held it together. As
much as I could.
You know.
As much as I could.
22 times you were a bridesmaid, not a bride.
Yeah, 22. Ooh. 22. Painful.
Yeah, painful. I heard just thinking about it.
The worst of it was when he lost to me. That was the worst of it all. When I carried the gold trophy right here.
We will be back. We're
going to be back to the GOAT this year and see how long you can retain that title. If you go Chris Bumstead or if you go...
That was painful. Oh, my God. I could just see the pain in his eyes.
We'll see what happens.
Well, we're going to get back with some more Primetime Muscle right after this. We had another champion regain their title this year, and that was a very exciting moment. We'll come back and we'll talk about the bikini division on Primetime Muscle.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
Hey, we're back. Okay, guys, this year in bikini, there were 41 competitors.
41.
41. And in amongst that 41, let's just think about some top 10. I believe you had 5 former bikini Olympias. You had Ashley Kaltwasser, the winningest bikini competitor of all time. I think she just crossed that 41-42 win mark with the Japan Pro.
She won in Hawaii. She won Japan.
She won Sean's show out in Hawaii.
By the time we finished the segment, she probably won another show. She was just winning everything. I mean,
but you had her out there. You had Jennifer. You had Maureen Blanquisco.
Isa Piscini.
I mean, just you had so many champions out there.
I got breaking news.
Talk to us.
I got breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Breaking news. Hello, athletes and fans of bodybuilding. Terrick El Guindy with the Mr. Olympia. I have breaking news. Angelica Teixeira is coming back.
Oh, I heard about that.
She's coming back to the Olympia.
I heard about that.
She said, Terrick, I'm going to take down Jennifer Dory, Maureen Blanquisco, all these girls. I'm going to tie Ashley Kaltwasser's title of 3 Olympia. Breaking news right here, prime time.
So there's going to be a pump-up room in a childcare area? Is that what we're doing next year?
Correct. Yeah, she's bringing her kids. She goes, they're going to celebrate with me backstage.
That is awesome.
Well,
then who are you going to get to MC the host the live broadcast for the Brazilian public?
That is a great question. I called Franciele Matos and I said, can you retire? She said, no, Terrick, I can't. So I am currently hiring a Brazilian that has won multiple Olympia titles to be on the Brazilian pay-per-view. Otherwise...
Which is... Who?
I'm still looking for.
Gisele Machado, maybe.
Gisele Machado is competing. Could be Natalia Melo, could be Juliana Malacarne.
Go for Melo.
Could be another Brazilian influencer, but I'm going to find someone.
Well, let's get back to the big win, though. So
it's
but it's a...
Go ahead.
Attila Santiago, man, she's a judge. She would be tremendous. The only issue that she judges a lot of the classes, so she would have to go back and forth.
Yeah.
But Attila would be the ideal.
Do it.
I know. I've MC'd and competed in the same show. It can be done. So let's talk about this. You had 41 from around the world, and I try to remind people when they're thinking, oh, I'm in the second or third call out. Every one of those competitors won a show somewhere in the world to get to that big stage, and you're duking it out. And Jennifer Dory was on the comeback this year.
She out of all the people last year, 2022, she was the most unhappy one about losing. She did not like, okay? She was like, oh my God, no way, next year I'm gonna win it. Her and Maureen Blanquisco are incredible, okay? So is Ashley Kaltwasser. Here's the deal. Do we have pictures here, Nico Zane?
Exhibit B.
Oh, here's the deal, okay?
I'm sorry. I can't look at Jennifer Dory with the sassy over-the-shoulder look without thinking of Chris.
Come on, man.
Louis down. She's all Louis down.
You knew what was going to happen. I've been picking this girl the whole year. You know it. You've seen it on Primetime Muscle. Chris, the real deal Cormier, had it locked in from the start.
Oh, my God. Losing thousands of subscribers as we speak. Jennifer Dory in 2022 was a bit over condition. In 2021, when she defeated Laura Lee Chapados was a bit over condition. She came back to her 2021 form. Jennifer Dory has a beautiful softness, and she's got glutes for days. I mean, she's one of those competitors that she's 2 days out, and you look at her, she still has glutes. Some of these girls, their glutes disappear on the final week. Jennifer Dory has the glutes, she has the softness, she has everything. She's the prototype. And I was at the High Roller Royale, and she said to me, Terrick, I'm not winning just 2 Olympias. I'm annihilating Ashley Kaltwasser's record.
Oh. Ooh, it's the gauntlet has been dropped.
I spoke to her backstage at the Olympia before she was just about to go on, and she said, you know, whatever the judges asked for me to fix and do, that's exactly what I did. Make the muscles look, you know, softer. Don't look like you've, you know, trained that hard and heavy. Try to make, you know, the cuts, you know, everything she was asked to do. That's the package that she came up with her insight and input.
Now, I said to Mark Anthony backstage after the win, he's in the white suit, the 5 o'clock shadow, he looked like Don Johnson. I said, you better be glad she won that title back, because I thought you were bad luck. You know, she wins, you propose, she loses, she got it back, you're off the hook. So she looked so amazing, but it has got to be razor sharp. I'm looking at the results, and it wasn't like some categories where it's 5 points, 10 points, 15 points, all the way up the rankings. It got closer and closer. You know, Laura Lee Chapados dialed it in this year. Issa came in a little too hard, but Laura Lee dialed it in. Ashley looked amazing. It was, from where I was sitting, it was a coin toss.
Well, Maureen Blanquisco is genetically gifted. You look at Maureen Blanquisco, and she's tiny everywhere, tiny joints, the arms, the shoulders, everything is so tiny. And then it goes to the glutes. She's got these amazing glutes. So she's genetically gifted, and she can win any Mr. Olympia. That's why Jennifer Dory needs to be at her best. What Maureen Blanquisco did, she was a bit softer than 2022. If she was just a smidge more conditioned, then man, we're in a war here. But she was just a bit softer than 2022.
I don't know how they do it, Chris. I don't know. You talk about 6 and 7 second increments, how you pick apart the minutia of this much perfection by you getting her and Maureen Blanquisco next to each other. I mean, is it that obvious that the softness is, because you're talking about off of my Olympia winning condition?
So it's like this. I often say, hey, bikini is the hardest one to judge because you have a very small window where if you go over, you're too conditioned. We're Alicia Pados. If you go a little bit over this side, you're a bit soft, like Maureen Blanquisco. Jennifer Dory in 2022 was a little bit out of the window in terms of conditioning. She came back to that small window. Maureen Blanquisco was in that window. She got out with a little bit of softness. So it's this much, and you got to get in there. But you might miss it just a little bit. And whoever doesn't miss wins.
Yeah, I mean, you could just see, I mean, she had some more, Maureen had some more development to her physique, I thought. But, you know, as you said, you know, it's a little bit, that little difference makes a lot.
Well, if you're looking at this and you talk about glutes for days, and of course we always talk about, you know, in 2019 in the live broadcast, Sean and I, they tore us apart saying, guys, how many more times can you say glute ham tie-in? What else you got? But this is this not a perfect glute ham tie-in with conditioning, separation for this class?
Tim, the key word here is soft separation. This is the separation between the glutes and the hamstrings is soft. And there are no lines on the hamstrings, okay? No lines on the hamstrings. In 2018, Jennifer Ronzetti lost to Angelica Teixeira because she had a few lines on the hamstrings. You cannot have lines on your hamstrings as a bikini competitor. And I gotta give credit, Maureen Blanquisco, Jennifer Dory, and Ashley Kallwasser, they were incredible. They presented no lines. If you're a bikini competitor and you get paranoid about conditioning, because that's the story of my life, they get off the stage and they go, I should have been harder, I should have been harder. A lot of times they should have been softer. But that's a really clear line for us judges. No lines on the hamstrings. Once you have that, you're not winning the show.
Yeah, a few years ago, I used to see a lot of bikini competitors with total hardness and strength, you know, hamstrings, all showing like an anatomy chart. But I think this is a better look for bikini.
Now, Chris, imagine back in your day, you got judges and you got people coming to you saying, look, I know bodybuilding is just get as big and ripped as you can, be rock hard up there, show every striation. But someone comes to you and says, don't be too hard, but don't be too soft. How do you even dial that in?
That's not my forte. I get it, but you know, that's the thing. And a lot of these bikini competitors, they're relying on their coaches to bring them in how they're supposed to look, but I don't think a lot of coaches have that understanding.
And Tim, you said it right. For us judges, it's, hey, she's too hard, she's too soft. There's a real perfect, soft separation, glutes and hamstrings. The abdominal wall is flat, but it's not diced. There's no veins on the arms, but still a little cap, so it's that perfection. It is the hardest category to judge is bikini.
Well, guys, it was an amazing division this year. Like I said, 41 from around the world. Obviously, this year, if there's 41 shows, there's only going to be 39 people up there because Ashley's already taken 2 of those spots.
Best Olympia employee.
Cutting down on the travel and per diem. Thank you, Ashley Caldwalser. It's going to be an amazing show. Things are going to start heating up here in about a couple of weeks for qualifications. Anybody you know or anybody you know that you see in that 5 to 15 range that you're looking to make some big jumps?
Well, the person that really needs to make a jump is Laura Lee Chapados, okay? Laura Lee Chapados has won the Arnold Classic many times. She's won many titles. We still have not seen the best of Laura Lee Chapados. And I'm going to tell you, the biggest threat to Jennifer Dory's best physique is Laura Lee Chapados. But Laura Lee Chapados needs to come in a bit fuller. Her strength is her curves. She's tall. She is supposed to be a little bit, more curvaceous than the other girls. So when she comes in a little bit conditioned and becomes streamlined, that's not her best. Her best is fullness. And if she presents that fullness at the Olympia, she could be the Olympia champion. We're still waiting to see that. She's been competing for a while. She's the one that needs to make a move and finally do it.
Chris?
I believe the same. I've been waiting to see, just when you walk up on her, close to her, you see the attributes are there. The waist, the tiny waist is so small, and it's like, but she has that same look as Jennifer Dory as far as like the shoulder to shoulder, the clavicles are wide, and I think she's been getting that 3rd place or so, but I think she is still vying for that title and still can get it.
I'd like to see a couple others. I'd like to see Jordan Lee make a big move.
Jordan Lee, great job this Olympia.
Yes, Daraja.
Could have been a little bit tighter, but she has all the tools.
And an outsider, Jordan.
He's got all the
Jordan Brannon.
Jordan Brannon, she did not. She was a bit too hard. But let's mention one name that's coming up. She just won a show after the Olympia, Ariana Brothers.
Oh, I was hosting that show. That was the Atlantic Coast.
She won a show prior to the Olympia. She placed top 10 at the Olympia. She won a show after the Olympia. Keep an eye for Ariana Brothers.
Okay, I'm going to tell you straight up, Ariana Brothers. That was a really, really great show. Tim Gardner show down in Fort Lauderdale. Top 3 there and top 3 in the wellness were just incredible. But Ariana Brothers was stunning. When you get out there and you're that tall and you have those lines, she nailed it in every direction. She was 7th, I think, at last year's Olympia. She could make a move up this year.
She's good. She's very good.
All right, well, you guys are both a move up today. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, sir.
Nice to see you. Terrick.
Great seeing you.
The insights, man, they just get stronger every episode. We sit here and all.
Last few weeks, man, just look at you.
Yeah, we're here for you, Terrick.
Yep.
All right, folks, and we're glad to be here for you. Be sure to drop your comments, the people you want to see move up across all divisions, who you agreed with this time around. And as always, like, subscribe, and share with your friends the only show that covers all the divisions across bodybuilding, primetime muscle. Tim Wilkins, the real deal Chris Cormier, and the one and only Terrick El Guindy. We'll see you next time.